Ready? Been looking forward to this.
One, just reach right over to that hook. You always take pride in what you want to do, right? That's kind of the mentality of a blue-collar job, is like you come to work, you do the right thing.
And it is the fastest growing job in America. Do you feel that?
It definitely, in the past year, we've grown so much. It makes it for nice to have a quick lunch break up here.
Are you serious? Cut through Iowa and county roads, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a moment when you can't see these giants out there turning on the open fields. The wind industry has touched three major tenets of life in the Midwest: farming, manufacturing, and education. And there's no better place to see its effects than in Iowa, which gets about a third of its electricity from wind power. That's more than any other state. In most of the country, renewable energy is a political football.
I don't want to just hope the wind blows to light up your homes and your factory.
But in Iowa, it's become a bipartisan economic backbone for blue-collar workers. We're in northern Iowa, and a lot of the landowners and farmers out here have wind turbines on their land. One of them is Denny Friest.
Yeah. Hello? Come on in, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Zach Toombs. Nice to meet you.
Denny Friest.
Denny. Your family has used this land for more than 130 years.
Yes.
So you guys, I mean, you're in it for the long haul.
Yes. You know, one of my goals in life was to be able to offer my kids the chance to farm if they wanted to. And my son Brent's farming with me now, and that's great. Hopefully the next generation will choose to pursue the same career. Financially, it's getting to be a challenge for all of us farmers to show a profit, because a lot of our costs are fixed. We've got to try to be as efficient as we can. So we're not relying on fossil fuels to solve our needs. We're doing it with wind, we're doing it with crops. Tremendous advantages. Well, let's walk around back here and we'll see. I need leg room, so. But this gives you, there's 105 windmills in this wind farm. And it starts right up there. You can see the far north one. It goes down about 25 miles. It's about 25 miles from one end to the other, I think. The soil here, if you pick it up, is just pure mud. It's
So we're not planting in that yet?
We're not going to plant in this, no.
Usually you've planted by now.
Yes.
Right? And this year it's a little different. And it's different every year, isn't it?
Every year's different. We've had unusually cold week this past week. We've been reluctant to get corn in the ground because we're waiting for the soils to warm up. Having these turbines on my farm, the payment is a nice thing that they pay me a yearly payment on these windmills, which is a nice income to supplement the farm income.
Corn is definitely the king crop here, but wind keeps a steady stream of money coming in even when crop prices drop. Most landowners in Iowa get $5,000 to $8,000 for each turbine each year. These things also bring in a lot of money through property taxes, sending millions of dollars in Iowa to schools, hospitals, roads, and more. But the turbines are pretty expensive to build and install, and technology and location are still big challenges for the industry. Better batteries are needed to store electricity generated by turbines so that heavy winds on one day can make up for light winds the next day. And because turbines often sit far from the cities that use a lot of electricity, more transmission projects are needed to help distribute that power. In the meantime, as more turbines are going up across the U.S., jobs in wind are up too. Wind turbine technician is by far the fastest growing job in the nation. And manufacturing towns like Newton, Iowa have found new life through a new industry.
Wind energy's brought back 1,300 to 1,400 jobs in town. So wind energy has revitalized the economic stability of Newton. It benefits the rural communities, right? Just these small towns just continue to prosper. It's a process to move the blades around inside the building. They're going to fly it over, they're going to set it down on the trucks that we saw outside.
It's 186 feet long, 22,000 pounds. You don't really realize the scale of it when they're up on the turbines. It's not until you're standing this close to one that you realize how big it is. Do you consider this a blue-collar job?
I do. I didn't graduate high school, and there wasn't a lot of opportunity for someone who didn't graduate high school to be successful, be able to provide for their family. And I found it in the renewable energy industry.
A single Maytag factory once employed 1 in every 5 residents in Newton, then known as the washing machine capital of the world. That is, until the factory closed its doors and moved production to Mexico.
I got laid off in '04 because they shut down. Well, when Maytag left, it took some of the people away, but since TPI is here and the other little companies are coming in, there's starting to become more people and more diverse people here in this town than there ever has before.
We got a nice day out here.
Working at Maytag, we're always just building just washers and dryers. We always want to do something for our children. What better way to, give them wind energy when we're gone, passed away, they're going to be able to capture the wind still. So we're doing something for our future.
Iowa, along with states like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, we are in the wind belt. And so having a blade manufacturer located in the America's heartland, right, where wind energy is prevalent, it just was the right decision. It's going to be very busy for the next several years.
That growth means wind technicians and engineers are in high demand across Middle America. Schools like Iowa Lakes Community College are stepping in to fill those needs with programs like this one.
This is really one of the features of the building here for the wind energy guys. This is a 2-megawatt machine here.
So this is kind of the brain of the wind turbine. So you take students up here and go through the equipment and they learn on it in this setting before they go up?
Yeah, there's a comfort level there that's good for them because they learn to get familiar with the components. We kind of dispel a lot of those fears and apprehensions by the time they're actually working in the field.
What is your background? Did you work up in turbines?
No, actually, before I came here, my background was in aviation. I spent 28 years on active duty in the Air Force doing aircraft maintenance. So from a technology standpoint, it really wasn't a leap at all.
How long have these programs been around?
Our wind program was the first in the nation to be in Associate in Applied Science in wind energy and turbine technology, and that started in 2004.
So since then, do you know how many students have gone through that program?
Hundreds. Yeah.
Hundreds of wind turbine technicians that have been put out there into the industry.
Exactly. By 2030, America has a goal of generating 20% of its electricity from wind. Well, in order to do that, we need another 250,000 people out there working in this industry, so that's a pretty tall order. So right now, DOL puts us at growing at about 108% for the next decade. I think that number's a little higher if you do the math.
When I first came in here, people were already starting to look at me. Even in my first year, first semester, like, oh yeah, we're gonna take a look at you, see how you're doing in your classes and everything, saying, like, if you keep doing this, we'll employ you later on after your second year and stuff. So
that must feel good. You feel secure in having a job after
Absolutely.
this. So for Wyatt, this is an exam. The students go through this, they're tested on it. How often and at what stage are they tested on rescue missions like this?
During the first semester, we have the students climbing our working turbine within about the first 2 weeks. So we want to make sure they can work well with the team, that they understand that they've got somebody's life in their hands and vice versa. We want to know that they don't have any issues when they get to work at height.
Cool. How do I get off this thing?
Okay. We're borrowing the earth from future generations, so when you look at it from your child's perspective, they don't see the world the way we do anymore. And in a few short decades, what you're going to see is a group of decision makers that not only see us as good stewards of the planet, but are starting to make policies that encourage that.